Barakatah Yahweh Shai. Barakatah Yahweh. Barakatah Yahweh. Barakatah Yahweh Shai.
Hey, shalom, shalom. Call Halayim Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakaha, Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, better known as GMS, who rule well and teach well. Peace and salutations unto the hopeful elect, the tabernacle of David, beginning with the 144,000 and the rest of the men, women, and children out of the 12 tribes whom Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, will ultimately have mercy upon in these last days, all right? And I'm your brother Montezabath from the branch of the Great Millstone here in Melbourne, Australia. And I'm just catching up, a little bit late to the party, dealing with this Artemis 2 launch by Esau, all right? And it seems to be causing a lot of distraction from what's going on dealing with the Iran and U.S. and Israel war, okay? Now, let's remember something, all right? It is officially today, as I'm recording this, Sunday, April 5th, 2026. Now, keep in mind, this month alone, along with the first week of May, is one of Satan's high holy day months within the calendar year, okay? And as of right now, this Sunday, it is the worship of the deity known as Astarte, okay, which is an ancient Canaanite deity worshiped by the Hamites during the ancient world. And now that has that deity within itself, okay, has basically evolved into the Greek pantheon of deities today known as Artemis. Now, when you look up Artemis, okay, and we got it right here. When you look up Artemis, let me see. All right, hopefully my audio has come back, but let me do this real quick because they like to mess with the audio. All right, so just please bear with me. Okay. All right, there we go. Now, when you look up Artemis here in Google, it says Artemis is the Greek goddess of the hunt, also wilderness, wild animals, the moon, and chastity, and also known as a protector of young girls and a deity of childbirth. She is the daughter of Zeus and Leto and twin sister of Apollo. Okay, and this is key because remember, okay, back in 1970s, you had the known as the Apollo 13, okay, which was Esau's first mission to go to the moon. Okay, now we know it says here, furthermore, usage examples, the Artemis program and NASA's current mission to return humans to the moon, symbolizing a bridge to the future. It is also used as a name for children, often linked to the Greek origin. All right, because everything that this devil does is centered around of these ancient deities, these gods, these worship. Okay, and this is why America is known as the mother of all harlots. Okay, because it literally practices every ancient worship deity. Okay, deities, Salakia, right? But everything, which you have to understand on a grand scheme of things, everything has been repackaged. Okay, and so a lot of people they have been enchanted. Okay, Esau has used craftiness to really make the masses of the people out there to believe that these dudes are really going to go around the actual moon. Okay, now, so that we can get an understanding of this, I got a quick short snippet here on YouTube from Channel 9 News here in Australia. All right, so let's take a listen in. Okay, hopefully the audio will pick up, but let's check this out.
heralding a new age of space exploration. The Artemis 2 rocket ready to blast off.
After 50 years, we return to the moon.
Our team and our hardware are ready.
It's one small step for man.
With one small step, these black and white images changed the world. But humans haven't been back to the moon since the Apollo 17 mission in 1972. Now, after a decade of work from thousands of engineers, we're close. Come April 1st, the launch window will open for the mission, with the aim to send 4 astronauts more than 900,000 kilometres around the moon and back.
Now, keep in mind, all right, they've launched this last week, 1st of April, okay, which would have been last Wednesday, okay? So automatically that should, in your mindset, that's a red flag because it's also known as April Fool's Day. That's number one. Number two, this is supposed to be a 10-day journey, all right? But what doesn't make sense, because if you see here, the way that they have the route outline going from, Earth all the way, they're going to travel 900,000 kilometers. They're just going to go around the actual moon and then come back. Now, what I did was I came over here and I typed in what was or why are they launching Artemis II and what are they trying to actually achieve, right? It says Artemis 2 is launching in April 2026 as the first crewed mission of NASA's Artemis program, sending 4 astronauts around the moon and back. Its primary goal is to test the Orion spacecraft's life support systems with humans aboard, validating safety for future lunar landings and preparing for long-term exploration of the moon and Mars, right? But see, what they don't tell you is back in 1972, between 69 and 72, they claim to have had the technology, okay? And then after having the technology, they ended up destroying it, which makes absolutely no sense, okay? And this is the reason why during the time that we're in now, Esau is being exposed, okay, for all of his lies, the manipulation, okay, the covering cast, okay, let's get that, okay? Get that Isaiah 25 real quick. All right. Isaiah 25 and 7. All right, this is the book of Isaiah chapter 25 and verse 7. And he, Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, will destroy in this mountain the face of the covering cast of over all people and the veil that is spread over all nations. Okay. And that mountain, mountain can represent governments. And the number one mountain right now that's controlling the masses of the people is none other than Babylon, the Great America. And they have a deep covering cast over all the people, because that covering essentially goes into the lies about who nations are. Okay. Remember, you had a guy by the name of Blumenbach who was responsible for, the different, let me look it up real quick because I don't want to butcher it, but let's do this here. What was Blumenbach responsible for? Okay. It says right here, as you can see, Johann Friedrich Blumenbach was a German anatomist and anthropologist, often deemed the father of physical anthropology and founder of racial classification. Okay. So he was the one, as it says here, who proposed dividing humanity into 5 races: Caucasian, Mongoloid, Malayan, Ethiopian, and American. All right. So he's the guy that's responsible for giving the pseudonym of different races. You see? And so that also falls under that covering cast. All right. And then also, not to mention, it says that veil that is spread over all nations. Okay, so we have his pseudoscience. Okay, you have something that's called the Darwin, okay, evolution, right? All of these things that goes back to his teachings. Okay, it's all pseudo, okay, which means false, right? And so now we're in a time where the truth is coming out. Okay, the truth is coming out. So with that being said, let's come over here. And this is a video which I believe I've done a lesson on about either last year or the year before. But this is from BitChute. Okay, this is fair use. It says NASA drops bombshell, finally admits we didn't go to the moon. Okay, because make no mistake about it, there's already been the crew back then in the 70s that allegedly went. Some of them being whistleblowers had actually came out and they've done meet and greets and stuff where they actually told the truth. All right, but let's take a listen in. This goes for about 9 minutes and 34 seconds. And then I got another video that's actually going to show you that there was a Hollywood producer who's no longer alive today, that his name was Stanley Kubrick. And he was the guy that was actually responsible for televising the so-called moon landing back then. All right, but we'll get that after this. But first, let's listen into this.
NASA just drops the mother of all bombshells, and the mainstream media buried it faster than a cat covers its own shit. They finally admitted it. We never went to the moon. The Apollo landings, total Hollywood production. Stanley Kubrick's greatest hits, filmed on a soundstage with better lighting than your narcissistic ex's Instagram. Insiders in the space industry have known this for decades. Rocket scientists whisper it in bars. Engineers laugh about the Van Allen belts over coffee. Yet the official story still stands. And anybody who questions it gets labeled a tinfoil lunatic. So why now, after 50 plus years, is NASA suddenly spilling the beans? And why is the world still asleep? Here's the truth, plain and brutal. No human has ever been beyond 1,200 miles above Earth. Not in 1969, not in 2025. Not American, Russian, Chinese, ancient Egyptian, nobody. Low Earth orbit is the ceiling, always has been. Except supposedly for 12 guys who blasted 240,000 miles to the moon and back 6 times, using a computer weaker than the chip in your toaster. In 1969, when color television was still a flex, and microwaves weren't a thing. Fast forward 55 years, and your phone has more raw power than every computer on Earth did back then. Every computer on Earth combined. We've got reusable rockets landing themselves like it's nothing.
Right. And he's telling the truth. But, okay, we as the prophets, we also have to give balance to where it's due, because now let's come back over here. We know, actually, I've already got that pulled up, but we know that Esau was given the technology on the left-hand side because eventually he was going to set his nest above the stars, which goes into his satellite systems, okay, his space stations, airplanes being able to travel at certain distances above the ground of the earth. All right. So we have to give a balance to these things to get the proper understanding. This is Obadiah chapter 1 and verse 3. It says, the pride of thine heart. And this is speaking of the Edomites, by the way. Okay. The vision of Edom. Okay. Or the vision of Obadiah, Salakia, concerning Edom, that is. Right. So it says, Obadiah chapter 1 and verse 3. The pride of thine heart have deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? Verse 4. Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down. And how did he do that? Okay. When he started implementing these satellites that orbits around the globe, okay, his space stations that has high powered telescopes, okay, and camera systems that can see, all right, into the firmament, right? That's how they are able to get images that they don't want the masses of people to see, like images of the Elohim, the angels and whatnot. Okay, they're able to see these things, right? So Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua has given them the ability to set these things up, because let's not forget, even when you get Psalms, the 19th chapter, it wasn't just so that technology was given for them just to be given, but you also got to understand that it was also set up for prophecy's sake, because remember, all Israel is scattered across the four winds. So how would the gospel be preached? Okay, because you also have something that's known as the internet, right? So it says the works in the word of power. Psalms 19:1, it says, to the chief musician, a psalm of David, the heavens declare the glory of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, and the firmament showeth his handiwork. Now, how does the firmament show his handiwork? Okay, well, it shows his work because he utilized the Edomites to be able to create such technology where they can pretty much track, trace, transmit things through those satellites in the air. Okay, you are able to watch a video on YouTube from anywhere around the world. Okay, you weren't able to do that almost 30 years ago. You weren't able to do that, right? It says, verse 2, day unto day uttereth speech, and night unto night showeth knowledge, right? Because no matter where you are around the globe, if you want to get access to information, you have it through your fingertips, whether it be using your mobile phone, okay, your laptop, your tablet, any source that can connect to the internet. Okay. It says, verse 3, there is no speech nor language where their voice is not heard, and their line is going out throughout all the earth, and their words to the end of the world. And them hath he set a tabernacle for the sun, which is going into Yahushai, which is as a bridegroom coming out of his chamber, and rejoiceth as a strong man to run a race. Okay. But the key part here in this chapter is dealing with the works of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, showing his handiwork through the firmament, because through the use of that satellite technology, okay, people can tap in. Okay, and I believe Elon Musk, he's also now using his Starlink to be able to connect via through the internet now. All right, so just keep that in mind. Okay, so let's come back over here. Let's get back to the video.
And NASA excuse for never going back? We lost the technology. Poof, gone. Apparently it was destroyed. But they won't tell us why or how.
I'd go to the moon in a nanosecond. The problem is we don't have the technology to do that anymore. We used to, but we destroyed that technology, and it's a painful process to build it back again.
See, this is what we're dealing with. This is the devil that the Bible speaks of. So here it is 50 years ago, when you had the technology to first go to the moon, but now you destroyed it. Okay. And now it's a painful process to rebuild that sort of technology again. Right. Let's take that back.
Gone. Apparently it was destroyed, but they won't tell us why or how.
I'd go to the moon in a nanosecond. The problem is we don't have the technology to do that anymore. We used to, but we destroyed that technology, and it's a painful process to build it back again. The only limit to human future is in our own imagination.
Seems legit. But it gets even worse. For decades, every serious researcher begged NASA, let us study the original Apollo 11 telemetry tapes. NASA's first answer, oops, we lost them. 2,000 priceless reels gone. Then the story flipped. Actually, we raised them and reused the tapes to save a few bucks during budget cuts. The only existing video of mankind's greatest achievement, recorded over with routine satellite data because the agency was a little short on cash. That was their official line. Let that sink in.
Here goes Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, step down on the moon, right? One giant step for all of us. Most amazing stories watched by, you know how many people? 600 million people.
And we're getting a picture on the TV.
We all know them. They're blurry. They're really terrible. You look at them and you're like, they're ghosts. You can kind of see through them. And it's why there's controversy about the moon landing in the first place. Because people are like, they faked it. Look at it. It's like bad special effects. You know what they think happened to the original moon tapes? Is they might have been taped over. Taped over, right? It's not a cassette. It's not an old mixtape from college. And I do want to tell you, my great mixtapes, you know, there was Melty Fresh, Belle Biv de Melts, Please Melts, Don't Hurt 'Em. Those tapes were precious to me. I still didn't tape them over. These are the moon landings.
Apparently, they've since found the original tapes in a suburban garden shed in Las Vegas. Conveniently for NASA, they weren't found in a Hollywood basement used by Stanley Kubrick. Because let's face it, how likely is it that NASA would actually tape over the original footage of mankind's greatest achievements? Because of budget cuts. Really? Then there was the press conference where Michael Collins said they couldn't see any stars.
We were never able to see stars from the lunar surface or on the daylight side of the moon by eye without looking through the optics. I don't recall during the period of time that we were photographing the solar corona what stars we could see.
I don't remember seeing any.
You hear that? Let me take that back. You hearing it from the horse's own mouth.
Stars.
We were never able to see stars from the lunar surface or on the daylight side of the moon by eye without looking through the optics. I don't recall during the period of time that we were photographing the solar corona what stars we could see.
I don't remember seeing any.
All right, so let's let's get us a precept. This is Psalms 64 and verse 8. So they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All they that see them shall flee away. And this is talking about Esau, Edom. Okay. They're going to make their own tongue to fall upon themselves, man. Okay. And also you have whistleblowers, as I mentioned earlier, that are coming out and saying this never happened. Okay. So we are in a time now where the scripture says, all right, let's get Jeremiah 49 and 10. It says, but I have made Esau bare. I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, and his brethren and his neighbors, and he is not. So everything is coming out of the forefront, the lies, the manipulation, the enchantments. Okay, everything is being brought to the forefront, right? Let's take it back. And Salakia, let me remove this off the stage. And let me bring this back. It has a tendency of every time I go out in and out, it'll drop the audio. So Salakia. So let's take this back. Let's play it.
Conference where Michael Collins said they couldn't see any stars.
We were never able to see stars from the lunar surface or on the daylight side of the moon by eye without looking through the optics. I don't recall during the period of time that we were photographing the solar corona what stars we could see.
I don't remember seeing any.
Then in his own book published in 1994, he waxed poetic about how breathtaking the stars looked from the lunar surface. Brilliant, endless, sharper than anything he'd ever seen. Let's face facts. Everything that was done 50 years ago is 1,000 times cheaper and easier to do today. Are we actually expected to believe that we went to the moon in this piece of shit 50 years ago? I've seen homeless encampments on Skid Row that have more insulation. I've seen Met Gala costumes that look sturdier than that.
Wow.
No wonder people are waking up.
They say, oh, well, it could be because of the topography, and it could also be more than one light source, and that's more likely when you got a shadow going like this and a shadow going like that. Well, we know we went to the moon, so let's come up with another explanation. Let's not assume we went to the moon, and let's look at that and say, is that the sun or is that multiple light sources at close range? There's videos that it looks like they're bouncing around on trampolines. The physics are not the same in Apollo 11 as they are on Apollo 15 and 16. All of a sudden, they can cover great distances. They're doing these weird, giant, long leaps that they weren't doing before. The whole thing's weird. It's
really
also
weird.
during a time where they were completely full of shit about everything.
You had 3 networks.
They lied about the Gulf of Tonkin incident that led us into Vietnam. They lied about who killed JFK. They lied about everything.
MK Ultra.
Everything. Charles Manson. Everything was bullshit. All of it was bullshit. Operation Northwoods. There was all these things that were going on at the same time. So it's like they were more than accustomed to lying. Why would they tell the truth and nothing but the truth about this one thing?
NASA's own people are openly admitting Apollo was a Cold War psyop. The footage faked. The rocks terrestrial. The whole damn triumph scripted. They're not even hiding it anymore. And when you hear the exact words Vladimir Putin drops about America's moon lie, the one that made the White House go radio silent, you'll finally understand why they've kept the truth buried for over half a century. Let's think about this rationally. In 1969, we sent a tiny homeless tent covered in aluminium foil 250,000 miles away to a precise location, when even being 1/1000th of an inch off in any part of the launch would have caused the ship to miss the moon by thousands of miles. And yet, we landed it. We played golf with clubs somehow snuck into the craft without NASA's knowledge. And now, we can't even get humans past 1,000 miles above sea level. And now, the kill shot, straight from the Kremlin. Vladimir Putin asked point blank about Apollo. It was the greatest spectacle of the 20th century.
Right. And the reason why, just to back him up a little bit, because he said, let me take it back a little bit.
Let's think about this rationally. In 1969, we sent a tiny homeless tent covered in aluminium foil 250,000 miles away to a precise location, when even being 1/1000th of an inch off in any part of the launch would have caused the ship to miss the moon by thousands of miles. And yet, we landed it. We played golf with clubs somehow snuck into the craft without NASA's knowledge. And now, we can't even get humans past 1,000 miles above sea level. And now, the kill shot.
And that's the point, because when you look it up, you also have to take into consideration, as the beloved Elder Malcolm brings this out all the time, you have something that's called the Van Allen belt. Right now, Google, they're going to give you their version, okay? But this is where we have to use, common sense, which really in this day and age, common sense really ain't that common for certain people. But nevertheless, I typed in, is the moon outside of the Van Allen belt? It says, yes, the moon is far outside the Van Allen radiation belts, and the belts are trapped within the Earth's magnetic field, extending only about 60,000 kilometers, while the moon is approximately 384,400 kilometers away. Now, this is where they go off, because they'll say Apollo astronauts passed through the belts in less than 2 hours, navigating through thinner, less intense regions to limit radiation exposure, and were entirely clear of them for most of their journey to the moon. Now, all you got to do is come over here. I'm going to bit you. Right. And let me see if I can find it, because when Elon sent, let's see here, Elon Musk rocket hits the dome. Slovakia. Right. Now, I'm not even going to play the video. You could play it on your own time, because knowing YouTube and their algorithm, if I was to play this, they'll probably clip my my lesson, and I don't want that to happen. But It'd be very hard for you brothers to find this on YouTube, so you have to come to other alternative sources like Big Chew or Odyssey. And as you can see here, 2 years ago, another rocket hits the waters above, and then speaking about the firmament, right? It says hits dome causes ripple effect, right? Then another one 3 years ago. Thank you, Fake X, for proving we're under a, and I think they're saying a firmament, right? Because when you see these videos, when they hit the rocket, or not to hit the rocket, but when they shot off the rocket and they kept going and going, they kept filming it. Basically, it actually hit the firmament and it caused like little waves or whatever. You see? So somebody's lying and somebody's telling the truth. You see? So how is it that these 4 people who they launched towards space back, this past Wednesday, okay, how is it that they were able to break through? Right? But when Elon, when he sent up testing his SpaceX, you saw what happened. Just a question, just putting it out there. Right? So let's come back. All right.
Straight from the Kremlin, Vladimir Putin asked point blank about Apollo. It was the greatest spectacle of the 20th century. America needed bread and circuses while her boys died in Vietnamese jungles. So they gave the world a circus on the moon. Pure Hollywood. The people cheered, the ratings soared, and nobody asked why the emperor was naked. Then the hammer. A Russian investigation fed the original 1969 footage into Google's latest AI forensic suite. Result? The AI stamped it fake. Synthetic imagery, composited frames, digital trickery. Watch Putin's reaction. He doesn't flinch. Just a cold half smile, like a man who's known the punchline for 50 years.
На этом фото ей кажутся ненастоящими. В то же время вот фотография китайского лунохода у нее особенных вопросов не вызывает.
А это то, что кажется не настоящим?
Да, вот то, что красное.
Сетка гугловская, не наша. Чтобы не было предвзятости. Удивительно, но там точно вот она смотрит по очень много параметров, в том числе там падение светотеней и так далее, и показывает, что инкорпорирована фотография.
Right now, we're inside the biggest red pill moment in history. The moon lie is just a crack in the dam. Once it bursts, everything they've sold us, history, money, power, even reality itself, comes crashing down. That's why they're panicking. The harder they censor, the more desperate the smears, the faster people wake up.
And that's what's happening right now because they are being made bare. All right. And they're losing control of the narrative. So now, knowing that they have but a short time, they're going to come down with great wrath on everyone. You see? Which leads me to say this. There's another video, Lord's will, that I'm going to post up as well, that you brothers need to check out, because there's an ex-war veteran who clearly told the truth in saying these other, America's allies is now starting to turn against them, and they're going to be the ones to strike against Babylon the Great. And that's prophetic on what he spoke on. You see? And this is why the Bible tells us, all right, let's come back. Let's get 2 Corinthians 2:11, which says, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. All right. Now, when you pull out that word devices in the Greek, all right, noema, all right, noema, it says a mental perception, a thought, an evil purpose, that which thinks the mind, thoughts, or purposes. So we're not ignorant of Esau's evil thoughts, his purposes. Okay. Everything that he's trying to do. This is why the scriptures also says in Psalms 37:7, it says, rest in Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, and wait patiently for him, and fret not thyself because of him who prospereth in his way, because of the man who bringeth wicked devices to pass. All right, now let's go into this word for the Hebrew in the word devices. All right. Let's
Strong's H4209. Mezima. Mezima.
It says a purpose, discretion, device, or plot. Okay. And normally the device is evil, because this is the wicked that we're dealing with that the Bible speaks of. Okay. His as it says here in the Strong's, a plan usually evil, wicked device, discretion, intent, witty invention, lewdness, mischievous device, thought wickedly. You see, and really, these devils, they're trying to escape, the judgment. You ain't going up there, to go around the moon. There. Come on, man. All right. Elon Musk openly admitted, he said, look, we want to establish low-key cities on the moon. Why do you think he said that? Because they're trying to escape the judgment, knowing what's about to come on the planet Earth. Okay. So let's finish this out.
Every ban, every fact check, every erased tape is another alarm clock ringing. We're not just exposing one hoax, we're dismantling the entire control matrix.
All right. So that's pretty much it on that. Okay. So now let me do this. So let's take that off the screen. Salakia. Let's remove that. And then let's put up this file. Now I'm going to show you a video dealing with Stanley Kubrick. All right, let's check this out.
Or something coming out, or
no?
Okay.
It's not about any movie. It's not about the movies I've made in the past. It's a confession of sorts.
I am Werner von Braun. This motion picture was produced to enable you to experience more personally and vividly the most dramatic events of the Apollo 11 story. The pictures and sounds are real, recorded in real time, where the action really was. So, come with us. We are going to the moon.
Okay, Neil, we can see you coming down the ladder now. And step off the lamp now. Neil and Bud, the President of the United States is in his office now, and we'd like to say a few words to you. Over.
I perpetrated a huge fraud, which I am now about to detail.
Okay.
Involving the United States government and NASA.
And that's pretty much it. Okay. And that was one of many reasons why he was actually taken out by the elites. All right. But what he detailed, all right, which that whole interview is very hard to find because they scrapped it off the net. You can't even go, you're not going to find it on BitChute. You're not going to find it on Odyssey. You're not going to find it on, Patreon. Okay. I was able to download this little video about 3 years ago. All right. And since then, the whole entire interview has been scrapped off the net because they don't want the masses of the people to know. All right. And so, all right. So let's come back over here. Let's bring our screen back up. And we're going to close out a couple more precepts. This is Jeremiah 31. We'll get straight to the point. Verse 35. It says, "Thus saith Yahweh, which giveth the sun for a light by day, and the ordinances of the moon and of the stars for a light by night, which divideth the sea when the waves thereof roar. Yahweh of hosts is his name." if those ordinances depart from before me, saith Yahweh, then the seed of Israel also shall cease from being a nation before me forever. Okay. It says, thus saith Yahweh, if heaven above can be measured and the foundations of the earth searched out beneath, I will also cast off all the seed of Israel for all that they have done, saith Yahweh. Now, you have to understand Esau, when you get Psalms, the 83rd chapter, along with these other nations, it says here, Psalms 83:1, a song or psalm of Asaph, keep not thou silence, O power, hold not thy peace, and be not still, O power. For lo, thy enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones, and the hidden ones represents us, the Israelites. But here's the point, verse 4. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. And this is key, right? Because outside of Planned Parenthood, putting GMOs in our foods, messing with the hormones of both male and female bodies, low testosterone, Salakia, low estrogen levels in women being diagnosed with badly severe endometriosis, not being able to give birth, okay, trying to unalive us by putting chemicals and spraying chemtrails in the air, you name it, they're doing it, okay? But also spending billions of dollars to be able to search out the heavens, which Artemis 2 will not be able to search out the ordinances of the heavens. And that's the title of the lesson. Okay, because as we read, going back to Jeremiah 31, if these ordinances, okay, let's get it again. All right. Verse 36, if those ordinances depart from before me, okay, in other words, if they can be discovered, if they can be measured out, then the seed of Israel, the entire nation itself, will cease from being a nation from the Most High. But that's not going to happen because we understand the promise that the Most High gave unto Abraham. Okay. And the scriptures also speak about the heavens. Let me see here. The heavens being like, let me see. Heavens is like a curtain. Yeah, Isaiah 40:22. It is he that sitteth upon the circle of the earth, and the inhabitants thereof are as grasshoppers, that stretcheth out the heavens as a curtain, and spreadeth them out as a tent to dwell in. So Esau, okay, is not going to be able to stretch, basically to search out the heavens, because the Heavenly Father, through his son Yahushua, has stretched out the heavens. So you're not going to be able to measure the depths of the heavens or the depths of the sea. All right. And then one last one, Luke 12:2. It says, for there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed, neither hid that shall not be known. Okay. And Yahweh Shemiah Shai, through, giving us this understanding through the Spirit, starting with the elect, is letting us know, okay, the truth of everything. Okay. We have an unction from the Holy One, and we know all things. Okay. And this is why the elect is not going to be deceived. Okay. So, just want to, go through that now. Let's play this clip that I played from the beginning, because I didn't, let it play out in its entirety, but I'm going to take it back. And now that we've gone through everything, now listen to the BS that Esau is trying to spill to the masses of the people.
Heralding a new age of space exploration. The Artemis 2 rocket ready to blast off.
After 50 years, we return to the moon.
Our team and our hardware are ready.
That's one small step for man.
With one small step, these black and white images changed the world. But humans haven't been back to the moon since the Apollo 17 mission in 1972. Now, after a decade of work from thousands of engineers, we're close. Come April 1st, the launch window will open for the mission, with the aim to send 4 astronauts more than 900,000 kilometres around the moon and back. The journey taking around 10 days before re-entering the Earth's atmosphere at 30 times the speed of sound.
I'll spend 36 hours traveling around the far side of the moon, observing things that human eyes have never seen.
The crew arriving at the Kennedy Space Center in Florida. They're now in quarantine as the countdown draws closer.
And we want to take the whole world along with us.
Astronaut Christina Koch is set to become the first woman to travel to the moon.
We're in a relay race, and we're not successful till the next missions are successful. And if nothing else, this just fired us up for that.
This Artemis program, a modern-day moonshot.
It's very much about the future of humanity. The moon has a lot of resources that we need to have access to.
But when it comes to those resources, there's caution. More than 40 countries have now signed an international agreement called the Artemis Accords.
That we will make this for humanity, and we won't make this a race like a colonization race.
There is no way.
Well, that's a damn lie, because everything else you've raced as a colonization. You colonized the entire planet. The scripture says in Psalms 49:11, "They inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever. They call the lands after their own names." So who's to say if Yahweh B'Shem Shai actually allowed you to land on the moon, the first thing you would do is actually conquer it? Yeah. As I mentioned, when you look up Elon Musk, he specifically said that they want to set up cities. All right. Matter of fact, we'll end it on this. Let me just go to that. Elon Musk. Right now, the scripture says, well, before we even get that, let's just read this. It says, Elon Musk has shifted his focus toward building a self-growing city on the moon within 10 years as a faster priority to secure the future of civilization. While long prioritizing Mars, he recently noted the moon is a faster initial focus. He has historically championed using SpaceX's Starship for lunar and deep space travel. So this is what Esau is planning to do. But the Bible tells us, Isaiah 14, we'll end it here in 21, right? It says, prepare slaughter for his children for the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not rise nor possess the land nor fill the face of the world with cities. Okay. So you're not going to continue to go here and conquer that and continue to feel, okay, your wickedness all throughout not only the planet, but now you want to go outside of the planet and continue on forwarding your wickedness. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen, Jack. All right. So that's it on that. Lord's will you was edified. Shalom.